Hello there, you absolute legends. Emma McElhinney here with Piss Off Perimenopause and the musings of a bullshit queenager. I am here to ruin your misconceptions about perimenopause, fat loss, and kick midlife in the face. So if you think your 40s are a drag, think again. Because every week I am going to be stripping down the myths about perimenopause. I'm serving you raw, unfiltered truths about your health and smashing misconceptions about fat loss. And a whole lot more. So if you thought you knew midlife, you don't know the half of it. Aging is inevitable, but getting old is a choice. So buckle up, grab a glass of something yummy, and let's get to it. Hi! Welcome to episode 2421 of Piss Off Perimenopause and musings of a bullshit queenager. It's not really that many. It's not. I think we're about, I don't know what we're at. It's less than 100, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll repurpose it at another time and need to cut this and pretend it's episode 255. Anyway, hi. For those of you listening with ears and not eyes, I am very comfortable. I don't normally when I do recording, because I know this is going to be on YouTube as well, I tend to wear nice lady clothes, but not my minging oversized sweatshirt, which I have got on today, but because it's very cold where I am, so I feel as if it's warranted. Okay, that's a bit of a rambling start. Not really here why we're here. We're here to talk about bloating, farting, constipation, needing to rush to the toilet 3 times once you've had your morning coffee. We're here about gut health and digestion. Now, gut health's always been a really important part of what I do, but only really in the last, 3 years, I would say that it's something that people now approach me proactively for, which is really good. You might find that once you kind of hit perimenopause, you might find that your digestion starts to act up a wee bit, and you're not really sure why or what you've done differently. And very often I hear people say, oh, I've suddenly taken a reaction to gluten, or, caffeine just goes through me, or like dairy is making me vomit or be bloated or whatever. So the chances are, like, all of these things that happen, it's likely not gluten or suddenly got an intolerance to something, but hormonal changes do play a big part in our gut health. And gut health is one of gut in general isn't really talked about as much as it should be, because our gut is known as our second brain. It's really important. So let's talk about guts. Let's talk about bloating. So I had a client quite recently who, like, when she first started, when we had our first initial conversation, she was talking about how she genuinely thought she looked pregnant. She was like, I've looked back at pictures of myself when I was pregnant, and the size of this bloat is like a pregnancy. It's really tight. And I get that quite a lot, actually, with this, and like, I've never experienced it before. It's getting worse as I get older. She wasn't sure whether it was food. She wasn't sure if it was stress. She wasn't sure if it was hormones. She just doesn't know. And like, she's tried to clean up her eating a wee bit and, cut out some crap, cut out alcohol, cut out bread and cut out pasta, and nothing was really changing. So the things with our gut and our hormones are in constant conversation. And our gut does change in midlife. Our gut does change because of hormone fluctuations and depletion. Our gut is sensitive to stress. And we're going to be talking about all of that today. But more importantly, we're going to be talking about, how can you fix it? Because there's literally no point of you listening to this if I'm not going to help you. What would be the actual point of that? So anyway, let's have a nerdy wee bit of science, right? So pretty much, your gut and your hormones need to work together. They need to be holding hands, skipping along life. We are best pals. Da, 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 da. And then basically, when perimenopause hits, they fall out and go, I hate you more. But anyway, estrogen is it can help keep your gut lining strong, your gut microbiome balanced, your digestion smooth. So when estrogen starts to fluctuate and starts declining and fluctuating from our late 30s onwards, that can mean that our gut isn't as quick, slow. We might feel a little bit more constipated. That's what that means in real life. Changes in gut bacteria. That can be what causes the bloating. We can get uh, more inflammation in our gut, more food sensitivities. That might mean that you have excess flatulence, farts. Let's just go with wind. That's better, right? And you might notice like a bit more sensitive to certain foods. So basically, they're no longer best friends. They're having a bit of a Barney, right? I don't know if that's a Scottish word, Barney. Talk amongst yourselves while I think about that. Anyway, we also have our old friend cortisol, stress hormone. So when cortisol is high, you're doing all the things, you're stressing about all the things, you're not getting enough sleep, you're not eating right, your cortisol's high, digestion is going to not work properly. Okay, so your body doesn't actually care why you're stressed, whether it's getting chased by lions or whether it's because you've got a report that needs doing or you've got to have a difficult conversation with somebody in your team. Your digestion is simply going, meh, not important, right? I don't need to worry about digesting this because it's not the difference between life and death, like that tiger, lion. I can't remember what I said. So that's why you could still be eating all the right things, but still feeling a bit shit, literally, or having shit, literally, because your gut is in survival mode. Your gut is not in rest and digest. So when we are relaxed, when we get enough sleep, loads of things happen. One of the things is rest and digest. Okay. So if you're always busy, if you're rushing meals, if you're eating on the go, you're not actually sitting down, you're not chewing your food properly even, that's what's going to happen. Your gut is going to complain. So there's a lot to do with environment, there's a lot to do with what you eat, and there's a lot to do with how you eat as well. So when so what typically can happen is suddenly you start getting all this bloating or wind or diarrhea or constipation. What tends to happen is people will restrict things. They'll cut out gluten or they'll cut out dairy or they'll cut out caffeine or they'll just cut out all joy, all joy out of their life, right? No bread, no coffee, and no milk for your cuppa, right? All the joy is gone. No alcohol, all the joy is gone, right? So some people might get a temporary relief from that, and that's great. Some people they might find that they get a temporary relief and then that bloating or whatever comes back, right? So it can make you almost feel like a bit of a inspector detective type going, well, if it's not that, what must it be, right? So imagine if you've cut out, like say you cut out gluten and you go, oh, I'm feeling a bit better, right? Oh, I must go gluten free. And you go a couple of weeks and then all of a sudden it starts happening again. You're like, oh, I'll try cutting out dairy. So you've now lost bread and milk and all the milk byproducts that are in pretty much everything. And then it comes back again. You're like, oh my God, I can't cut out any, cut out tomatoes, cut out peppers. And for some people, it might be food intolerances, but for most people, it's actually not. And so you don't need to eat the most boring, I'm just trying to think like of the most boring diet in the world, like chicken, broiled chicken, grilled chicken, boiled broccoli, boiled rice, right? Unless you want to be a bodybuilder, that's what they eat. It's not actually what they eat all the time, but it's the most boring meal in the world, right? You don't need to eat like that in order to get your stomach back to a normal size, but we do need to do some work around hormone optimization and digestion. It's as simple as that. So, some easy, quick fixes for you. Eat like a grown up. Eat like a grown up, not like a rabid beast. Okay. So that means chewing your food properly. It means sitting down and trying to be relaxed while eating food and not just like snatching the bite of a sandwich off camera on a Zoom call. Eating slowly, chewing your food properly, like knife and fork in the mouth, knife and fork down, chew your food properly. This is a really funny exercise when people first start doing it because they're like, oh my God, this is so boring, right? But it's so good for you. Um, it means eating proper food, protein, fiber, different colors of food, different textures of food. So yeah, try chewing your food and try like just eating slow. It's really important. Um, Another thing that is really important is hydration. Now, dehydration can be the number one reason why you're feeling shit. Honestly, it impacts your physical performance and your mental performance so much just being a tiny wee bit dehydrated. So drink water. Honestly, I know you're rolling your eyes. All the nutritionists say drink more water. There's a reason for that. It makes you feel more energized. It helps your gut. It keeps your digestion system flushing through. It keeps your skin looking amazing. Just drink more water. Seriously. I don't need to explain myself. Just drink more bloody water. Um, Drink herbal decaf teas and coffees do count towards water. Caffeinated drinks, not so much because they are a diuretic, so they're kind of you're taking in more liquid, but the diuretic effects of caffeine is trying to push the water out. So, but you know, don't stop drinking coffee if you like coffee or tea. I genuinely couldn't give up tea. Um, Prebiotics, probiotic food, Greek yogurt, oats, fibers, veg, fruit, kimchi, sauerkraut, like jars of sauerkraut in the supermarket are amazing. Just add that to everything. That helps feed your gut bacteria. You don't need a fancy supplement. Just start basic with the stuff that you can already eat. Honestly, when I talk about supplements or I see supplement adverts, supplement, the clues in the name, supplementary to what you're already doing, not the thing, supplementary to what you're already doing. Manage stress is another one. Now, I know that's easier said than done, but really start if you are from working at a place of high stress. Now, the challenge that we have here is that we forget what not being stressed feels like at times. So, easy wins that you can do is taking 2 minutes just to sit and stare at a wall. Getting outside for 10 minutes with no external entertainments, no headphones. Just go outside, like even if you're in the middle of the high street, just go outside and listen, pay attention to what you can see, pay attention to what you can hear. You can practice some deep breathing exercise. That's signaling your body, to say, I'm safe and it's okay, right? Just practice, just 2 minutes, right? You don't have to do this 20-minute meditation. That thought actually stresses me out a wee bit. So if you don't have time, don't do 20-minute meditations. If you enjoy 20-minute meditations, do 20-minute meditations. But just help regulate your nervous system by taking some downtime. Okay. Stop blaming carbs. Carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are good for us. Our body likes carbs. We can get some fiber from whole grains. So whole grain pasta, whole grain rice, whole grain bread. We can get some fiber from that. And we need some of the starches within carbohydrate. So you think about, when you boil rice and the water goes all that thick gloopy way, that's starch. But we need some of that starch to feed the good bacteria in our gut. And because if we start cutting them out completely, your gut's not going to be particularly happy. Okay, so that's some easy wins that we can all do. In my programs, one of the things that we do look at is slowing down our eating and starting to learn how our body feels when we're full, not stuffed. So if you, like so many of us, we overeat because we're eating too quickly. And it can take up to 20 minutes for our brain to tell our stomach to tell our brain that we've had enough and to stop eating. But if you eat really quickly, your brain doesn't have a chance to find out that it's not hungry anymore. So you just keep eating and eating and eating. And so many people over consume in calories and gain weight because of that. So a really good next time you're out for a meal somewhere and there's kids, watch them eat because they actually eat how we should be eating, like eating slow, stopping when they're full. And a good wee test of this being satisfied, not stuffed, is, eating slow, putting your knife and fork down, but thinking to yourself, could I go for a walk right now? Yeah, probably. Could I go for a run right now? No, not so much. Can I move right now? Yeah, that's a good signal. So if you can't get up because you're so full, you have overeaten. If you could still go for a run, you've probably not eaten enough, right? So it's everybody's different. Everybody's got their own signals, but we lose after years of chronic dieting. So many women have lost that trust, lost that connection of what their body's actually telling them. So if you can slow down your eating, it's you learning how to be back in tune with your body. Now, I get it, you're busy, we're all busy. Pick one meal a day where you're sitting down. Pick dinner. Most mums find dinner easier to do this because they tend to sit down as a family and it tends to be home cooked meal. A lot of women rushing breakfast, getting out the house, rushing lunch if they're in the office and stuff. But just find a meal that you can sit and chew properly and start tuning in with your signals. Give it a wee try. Um, so one of the things to be careful of is this is not suddenly you not being able to eat properly ever again, right? So I just want to go back to this whole concept of I must have to cut something out. We don't need to do that. But if those steps that I shared, minimizing stress, drinking more water, eating slowly, eating a good mix of fruit and veg, getting enough fiber, and all of these kind of things, they are really going to be beneficial for you. Now, the sad thing, I don't know if it's sad, major things is this is not a magic wand situation. This is going to take patience. It's going to take consistency. You're not going to see results in a day. Um, so you're not broken. This is not about being broke. I said that a lot actually today. You're not broken. You don't need fixed, but adaptations do need to be made. So your gut is almost like your emotional barometer, if you like. So what's going on in your gut reflects what's happening in your brain. There's the reason why your gut is called the second brain. They're connected. So if you're always rushed about, stressed out your box, running on fumes, not eating meals properly, not chewing food properly, um, that's what's going to happen to your digestive system as well. It's going to be rushed, it's going to be running on fumes, it's going to be stressed as well. So the outputs of that are the bloating, the constipation, the diarrhea, the flatulence. Flatulence! Why can I say it? Not why couldn't I say it right the first time? Anyway, so when you start feeding yourself properly, your gut calms down, basically. And your brain will calm down because all of this is connecting. So it's not, let's move away from a place of restriction and a place of abundance. Like I get to have more of, I get to have more fiber, I get to have more protein, I get to have more healthy fats, I get to have more water. Um, and that mindset applies to everything that you do in life because one of the big reasons why diets don't work is because it puts us in a restrictive space. We puts us in a place of scarcity. I can't have that. I can't have that. I can't have that. And your subconscious is going to rebel against that. So if you switch your thinking to I get to have more of, it's almost like a pattern interrupt because you're so used to restriction. So when you go, I can have more of that. I can have more of that. I get to have more. Oh, that's a different thing. Kind of makes sense when you think about it, doesn't it? Anyway, right. So gut, messy, farty, loud. Hopefully, this will save you money because you're not going to have to spend so much money in bloody Gaviscon with the heartburn. And I have noticed, see if my nutrition choices are not the best over 3 days, I'll get really bad heartburn now, and that's never happened before. Um, so that's my cue to go and stop it, stop it. Go back to your normal, go back to what you normally do. It's so interesting what our gut's telling us. So basically, with like your gut is just a part of your body. We need to start working with it, not against it. Stop fighting against it. And take care of it. It's such an important part of our body that it affects everything. Our gut health affects everything. our mood, our energy, our metabolism, everything. So look after your gut. Okay, right. If you are bloated, farty, whatever, and you want some help with that, fill out the form that's underneath this video in the texty bit. If you don't want to do that, that's cool. You can follow me on Instagram, or you can like and share this podcast and tell all your friends, tell everybody about it. And because the more people that hear it, the more people we can help. We like. Okay, over and out. I will speak to you on the next one. Have an amazing day and go and chew your food properly, please. Thanks. And just like that, we have spiced up another episode of Piss Off Perimenopause and the musings of a bullshit queenager. Massive shout out and a huge thank you for hanging out with me today. I really hope you've been entertained. And remember, don't be shy, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, keep those heels high and standards higher. Remember, it's all about glowing, growing and downright owning it. So catch you on the flip side, and don't forget to click the link in the show notes to get your freebie.